Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, today got a little project. I need to make a little modification over here to this weld positioner that I picked up a while back. You guys may have seen some videos where I showed this and used it in some projects. I've been using it to weld up some journals on some old shafts that I'm turning down, particularly on some cane mills that I'm restoring, where the original steel shafts had been very rusted and pitted, so we basically are welding them up and turning them back down. It's been really good for it. I'll be honest with you, this Vevor brand weld positioner, it's not the highest quality tool in my shop by any stretch of the imagination, but so far it has done pretty good. We had to replace a switch in it that lasted about one use, but other than that, it has performed okay. It's got the job done. Again, questionable on the quality, total build, but for occasional use, the way I'm going to use it, it's so far it has done a good job. But I have ran into one little problem, and that is it's got this bracket that mounts on the back here that you can put your welding gun into, and basically you can move it up and down as you're welding, which is how I've been using it. It's got this little piece here. You just clamp your gun up on this right here, and as you're going up and down, you just move it up a little bit at a time, make a round, and it really does a good job of holding it in position. The problem I've ran into, though, is that I've only got this much travel on this, and the last roller that I welded up, it barely got to the top of the roller before I ran out of length on this shaft back here. And this shaft, just so you know, it's got a little rack in it in here that engages on the handle that moves it up and down. So, just putting a new rod back here, it wouldn't be that easy. I'd have to cut a whole rack in it. What I want to do is just basically make a little extender piece that goes on the back that will raise this thing up a little bit higher and give me a little more usefulness out of it, a little bit longer reach on it, basically, and I think it will work just fine. Fortunately, again, I've got a machine shop at my to come in here and do this kind of stuff with. I could probably fabricate something pretty easily, but I'd have to order material. I've got a piece of scrap metal sitting right here. We're going to go over to the lathe and just make a part that will get this job done. Let me show you what we got to deal with, and we'll get over to the lathe and get to work on it. So coming off the back of the weld positioner, they got this arm, a bracket, and it's just got a little bushing here welded on the back with a couple of set screws in it, and the little arm piece just fits down in there. You tighten up the set screws and you're in business. I measured this, it's 30 millimeters. I had to do the conversions. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not really set up for doing metric work in here very easily. All my machine tools and everything else pretty much read in inches. My measuring equipment, I do have some metric micrometers and stuff over there, but for me, I'm so used to working in inches that's what I'm going to work with. And I know that doesn't set well with some people, particularly in metric using countries, but you just have to remember, to me, metric is a foreign language, whereas inches is what I speak. So we'll convert these things over and do our measurements in inches. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's a measurement. It doesn't matter whether I'm measuring in inches, millimeters, or finger lengths, or whatever units I want to use, as long as they are as a standard to go back and forth, they all work. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do this right here. Now I've just got a piece of scrap metal here. This is something I found over in the bin. I don't even remember what this was supposed to be or whatever. The bottom end is already turned down almost the right length. Needs to be a little bit smaller diameter to fit down in there. I'll probably just turn that to a nominal diameter. It doesn't really matter what it is, and we'll drill a hole in the end that the shaft will fit in. We may have to bore it to get to the 30 millimeters again, because I don't have any metric drill bits, particularly at that size. I do have some smaller sizes for like when I have to drill a hole for a tap or something in metric. I do have some of that, but nothing at 30 millimeters. So we'll either find something that's close enough in inches, or we'll bore it to whatever size it needs to be. But this is just going to sit down in here, it'll clamp in place and it'll raise me up, you know, about 4 or 5 inches, which is all I need. And that should do the trick. Be well over, it'll be the most substantially made piece on this entire weld positioner. Way overkill for what it's going to be doing, but that's what we got to work with. Yeah, I could go out and buy some metric tubing that's the right internal diameter or whatever, buy some bushings, what have you, and just fabricate something up. And I actually looked at that option, but it was going to cost way more money than I wanted to spend on this, just buying the materials, when I can use a piece of scrap metal and get the same job done. So let's go to the lathe and get this thing knocked out. All right, so first step here, I need to turn this end down. This is going to be the part that fits down inside of that little piece of tubing over there. That's measuring 1 inch 210 thousandths. So I'm going to make this about 1 inch 200 thousandths, be about 10 thousandths undersized. We're at 1.5 inches right now. So we got about 300 thousandths to take off of there. So we'll just come in here, touch off, and it's about 100 thousandths here. We'll go ahead and get that cleaned off there. I may change that insert. That insert's not making a very pretty chip. It's probably time for a change. We'll go ahead and finish this cut and I'll swap that out real quick. All right, we're going to change this insert out. I'm just going to start by cleaning that little screw out there. If I can get my tool down in there. And it's just got a little tool here to do this. You don't want to over torque these things, guys. That's one of the problems. You see, that's the reason you don't have a whole lot of leverage on these. Don't crank down on it too much. I'm going to pull this insert out. The other side's already been used. So let me go grab a brand new one and we'll swap it. I don't see any trash or anything up underneath that. Drop our new one in there and screw it back in place. Pretty straightforward. And again, you want to tighten it, but don't over tighten it. All right, I think we're ready to go again. I'm gonna come in here and touch off again since we did change the insert, and take about another 100 thousandths cut on this one. And that chip looks much, much better. It's actually breaking the chip. I'm sure we're getting a much nicer finish on that too. All right, we're going to get out of this one. I should have about another 80, 85 thousandths to turn out, and we'll cut it down to size. Get a good measurement here. Yeah, we're at 285, 1 inch 285 thousandths. We need to go to 200, so I got 85 to take out of there. 4, 6, 85 right there. Just dialing it right off the dial. This is not a precision measurement here. This needs to fit down inside that piece over there. The other one's really sloppy, the piece that fits down in there. This should fit a lot better than what we got from the original, so we should be fine. So let's go ahead and turn this down. I'll go ahead and face the bottom of that step when we get down to it, so I have a nice transition in this bottom. So we'll come in, go right there, and I'm just going to pull my cutter out, and that's got a nice square cut in there. All right, I'm going to change cutters for a second. It just makes a 45-degree chamfer down on the bottom. Just makes a little, no sharp edges, and I'm also going to break this corner right here just a little bit. All right. I'm gonna pull that out, go drop it down in that piece of tubing over there, make sure it fits, it should, and then we'll flip it around and turn the other side. All right, I flipped this part around, and there's already was a center in it, so we just centered up on that. Like I said, this is something that was just in the scrap pile. I don't even remember what it was came from or whatever. All I want to do now, though, is just clean up, put a nice straight side all the way down this thing. Well, I must not have it tight enough in my chuck. Let me tighten this up a little bit more. It's not good for your cutters. All right, we'll try that again. Like I was saying, I just want to get this cleaned up all the way down. This outside diameter does not matter. It is much larger than it needs to be right now. I'm just going to drill a hole in the end. I just want to try to get it cleaned up all the way down. So, yeah, it's not going to quite clean up. So, I'm just going to come in here. We'll make another pass. So we'll take another 100th thou. And I think that'll probably make it all the way down. Maybe. All right, looks like that's going to clean up all the way down the bottom just fine. We'll go ahead and chamfer the top of this. I think we got our turning done. Now I need to drill this thing out so that we can put the other piece inside of it. I got a couple little pieces there that need to, there we go, get those out of there. All right, let's figure out what size we need to drill that hole. Looks like if I do an 1 3/16" hole, we should be just a little bit oversized and allow that to piece to drop down in there. So I've got a 1/2 inch drill here. I want to drill about 2 inches deep. I just put a mark on my drill bit there, and we'll just go ahead and get this drilled out. Deep enough. Let's get our other drill bit ready to go. This is a 1 3/16" drill bit. See how it drills. I did slow my lathe down, going up to the larger diameter. We don't want to be going too fast. This is about 200 RPMs roughly. Looks like it's going to cut it just fine, so we will go ahead and get that drilled. And we've reached the bottom of where the other drill bit went. That'll be deep enough. Let's try her out, see how she fits. So for comparison, here's the original. I want you to see how loosey-goosey that is. We've got our new piece. That fits in there. Got a little bit of play, but nothing like the original. And that's actually tighter all the way up. I think this is better than the bushing down there by itself. So all looks good there. Final step here, I need to drill a couple of set screws up here where we can tighten this up. We'll tighten this one up on the bottom, tighten that one up, and then get the top part tightened, and I think we'll be good to go. So let me get a couple of set screws going, and we should have this knocked out. We're just going to drill and tap a couple of holes for some set screws here. This is a 5/16, with 5/16 18, I think. Anyway, letter F drill bit is the tap size. Just going to do this over here on the drill press. Got it set up in a vise. We'll just drill these holes and then go tap them out by hand. One. There we go. Now let's go tap those out. Just going to use this little Noga tool here to kind of deburr and get the hole started there. That'll help that tap get started. Do both of these real quick. Could have done this in the drill bit press, but that'll get it done. Got my 5/16 18 tap. I'm just going to put a little dab of anchor lube on there to give it a little lubrication while we're tapping. And we'll tap these by hand. All right, there's number one. Again, a little dab of anchor lube. And there's number two. And with that, I think we can go over there and put it all together and make sure it works like it should. Zoom 24. So let's start. We'll put our little adapter piece in here. I'll tighten up the set screws on these. I will note that these are metric hardware and I've got inch hardware, but the good news is these don't get changed out a lot, so it's probably not that big of a deal. We'll go ahead and put these set screws in here. Tighten them up. There we go. It's actually better than the original. It's not as wobbly, and it gives us, you know, an extra 4 or 5 inches of height there, which should be all we need. Job done. I think we got her knocked out. Well, there we go. One more little quick project knocked out in the shop. This was pretty straightforward, but this is going to make a huge difference. Like I said, it's a much better fit in here than what the original was. It's not as wobbly. It's actually straighter because I was aggravated with this to begin with because it was so loose down here in the bottom that even when I tightened those set screws up, this thing was not straight up and down. By making my tolerances a little bit tighter on both the bottom and the top here, it's a lot straighter now than what it was before. And we got that little bit extra height. That's all I needed. But that's going to enable me to be able to do the job I got coming up with this a little bit easier to do. So just a little adapter plate here. Again, very straightforward, made out of a piece of scrap metal. Didn't have to order any expensive tubing from wherever and fabricate it. Quick project on the lathe, knocked out, done, made with stuff laying around the shop. Gotta love that. So guys, with that, that is a wrap. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Those thumbs up and comments really help out with the algorithms on YouTube, with helping getting my channel out there on other people where they'll see it and come subscribe and support our channel. Big, huge thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel, as well as to those who support the channel financially through PayPal, Patreon, etc. There are links down in the description if you can help out with that. It really enables me to take the time to shoot videos of what's going on here in the shop and share it with you guys, because it does double the amount of time it takes me to do anything when the camera's rolling in the shop. And with that, guys, we're going to sign off. We will catch you on the next video. Again, thanks for watching.